Hey everybody. So I'm checking in with the political stuff. If you're watching this video, just please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you feel moved to do so. Um, there's been something bothering me since late last night, and I mean really bothering me. Like I literally felt my arm was like so tight I could not sleep. So I was listening to I listen to Tavis Small's radio show, even though it's based out of LA. And in the third hour, he was having a conversation with Van Jones about Kamala Harris and the upcoming election. Van Jones, who I don't care what anybody says, is a fucking sellout. Okay. And I'll get into him in a second, but I'm going to get to why I'm really so aggravated. I heard these two black men talking about Kamala Harris. Tavis Smiley brought up a quote that's maybe roughly about a week and a half old from David Axelrod, who said, people shouldn't get too over exuberant or something to that extent about Kamala winning this election, da da da. Something I'm paraphrasing. And Tavis Smiley starts talking, David Axelrod, we of course know David Axelrod was the one who ran Obama's campaigns and then worked for him in the White House, especially that 2008 campaign. Now, he brings that quote by that white man, and then him and Van Jones are like, well, yeah. Van Jones is like, well, I agree. I hope you guys don't think really that she's just going to run away with the debate. But it's always for me a consider who is talking. I don't go around saying I'm going to listen to this completely objectively. No, if you have a history of saying and doing certain things, I'd be a damn fool not to consider it. So I'm like, oh, here we go. He was like, this is not going to be a runaway debate for her. She's a prosecutor. Prosecutors are protected, this, that, and the other. Because he spent so much time practicing law. Yes, he graduated from the law school. Look him up about how much real work he did in law. Anyway, and Tavis Smiley was like, yeah. And quite frankly, I mean, this is Donald Trump. Just X amount of minutes in, you know what he's going to go for. He's going to go for that jugular. I'm like, yeah, he is, because he's nasty. And I'm like Maxine Waters. I found out, I stand behind Kamala Harris because I know this is going to be nasty. And some of you, the black men who ain't going to vote for her, the black men, I went to a HBCU and pledged Divine Nine. I'm still not voting for her. A black man not supporting black women, what's new? But what really irked me was when Tavis Smiley said, I mean, you know how Donald Trump is. He'll call her a hoe to her face. And I said, now, do I think that he will go that low? Absolutely. We already know he's probably going that low. And, then there's like, yeah. And they're gassing each other. He was like, well, and he'll call her an itch too. And he said this about 3 times. He didn't say the B word, but he said it. We already knew what he was saying. But Tavis Smiley has gotten on his radio show and high horse too many times, talking about all the cursing in our civil discourse, and people in Congress are cursing everywhere you go, this, that, and the other. That rolled off his tongue so quickly. I was so infuriated that these two black men, when you could have said that in a lot of different fucking ways, you could have said, he'll call her out of her name. She got to deal with this Willie Brown stuff, and she does. You have to answer for that. Whenever you run for president or these big offices, people will bring up all this stuff from your past. And you have to answer for it. And, I know Willie Brown is the former mayor of San Francisco and had a lot of political pull in California. And, they said she dated him when he was 60 and she was 29. And they said that that's how she got all these jobs or whatever. She's got to answer for that. I don't give a fuck what she did. In this regard, we are voting between having a president or having a goddamn dictator. A racist one. And who you think he coming after first. But what really pissed me off is that rolled off his tongue so hard, so quickly. Right? And he'll get her with that Willie Brown stuff. She better be prepared. And Van Jones is like, yeah, she better have somebody already training her from the hood to be able to say this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, First of all of these are problematic stereotypes and reasonings. Let's begin with the number one. The idea that black people are not smart and don't work hard. Yeah. Okay, because some of y'all don't get that. Even how we perpetuate that about us, to us. Black people have been accused of being lazy since slavery. Now, if you know anything about racism, racism defies logic at its very core. The idea of someone being inherently superior based on their complexion is illogical. Then you go to your reasoning. Without us, the Africans would be lazy and would not do any work. These are real justifications. These are the kind of things written in the Notes of Virginia by Thomas Jefferson. I'm not making this shit up. Okay, I read, okay? Not popular shit. Not like how to get a man in 8 days and stay in the black church. You know, wild shit. Anyway, that's what they would say. Now, to me, I don't understand why you would travel thousands upon thousands of miles to the west coast of Africa to bring back human beings, to disperse them from the tip of South America all the way up to the northern tip of South America, through the Caribbean, through Central America, through Mexico, all the way up through the United States. You would go out of your way to do that if they so goddamn lazy. Wouldn't that just on y'all's fucked up level? Because chattel slavery means people as property. There was slavery in the world before that. Nothing was like that where people were property. Like Roman slavery, African slavery, that means you were a prisoner of war. They weren't enslaving their people. And you could work your way out of it. You didn't belong to people. It wasn't like that. I mean, it's, obviously not good, but I'm just making a point. Then you say that black people are stupid and can't grow past the mental capacity of a child. Yet you entrust them to be the wet nurses for your children, forcefully raise your children while having to neglect their own because you have to send them out to the fields of work as young as 3 because they don't get a childhood. Now that seems to be silly to me because it's just like you don't leave your baby with a 5-year-old. I hope not. And expect them to take care of it. So if you're saying that black people can't grow past mental capacity of a child, why are you breaking your neck to have so many black people take care of your kids? Right. Black people are stupid. They can't learn. So why has the United States gone out of its way historically all the way up to this very point where I am living and breathing to deny black people opportunities for education? Why did they do all the segregated schools and keeping black people miles and miles and miles away from one school where it would be overcrowded if they didn't really think we could learn? Why have you had to go out of your way? Just let things prove themselves and then you can get it over with. Why do you think there's always an attack on historically black colleges? I can't tell you how many black people I ran into to try to undermine my education and my skill. White people, especially Latinos. And then there's these black people that act like, their education was so much better. And those people were never smarter. They were not. And they almost kind of resent you and they're jealous of you. Why? Because you're African American. You get educated by other African Americans and you're not looking for white validation in the same way. And that bothers them because they went to these white schools oftentimes, and these are things even professors said to me, black and white alike, Latinos alike, Asians alike. They went to all these white places and expected acceptance and then they didn't get it. But the old American playbook, here we go. If you can't beat up on anybody else, you can always beat up on black people. So that pissed me off. And the real stereotype I'm getting to here is the idea of black women that is rooted in slavery that follows us up to this very moment. That black women are sexually promiscuous. That the narrative throughout slavery was that black women are beasts. They can't control their bodies. That it's not rape when you do it to your slave or to black women after slavery. That's why they didn't get prosecuted. That they liked it. This was what they do. They're not indiscriminate about who they have sex with. Now, who that sound like? Now, that's projection of the highest sort. Because if you sit up here and tell me you don't know or haven't been around white girls who act like that indiscriminately, and yet they're, what's the word I'm looking for? They always seem to appear as perpetual virgins, Kim Kardashian's been ran through more than the fucking Holland Tunnel. Yet and still, we give her benefit of the doubt and say, well, you know what, she's a nice person. She did. Fuck all of them. And that was the way they justified rape against black women. And I'm saying black because this was across not only the United States, but the Caribbean, South America. This is where they justified enslavement of African people. And then therefore raped us. And so this is just part of their nature. So when we perpetuate that narrative, let's just say it is true. All right. And it doesn't seem like there's a lot of evidence to the contrary, but you have like wild ass motherfuckers like Judge Joe Brown, self-hating black. I don't know why y'all get these people so much attention. And the same one who justified Bill Cosby, the same one who said Tina Turner was mean and Ike Turner was always nice to him as a kid in Memphis. And I'm thinking about, because they jumped on her car and she yelled at them one day, so fuck out of here, you dumb motherfucker. Anyway, so those kind of habits. But the idea is blame black women or to say things like that's how she got as far as she did. What we're not going to do is pretend like this black woman hasn't done these things on her own. And if that is the case, then every fucking white person in this country needs to be fucking evaluated for the way they get things. And trust and believe, I have seen plenty of white bitches fuck their way into it. That ain't no goddamn lie. That shit I've observed, and that's why I'm so infuriated by it. And so I think the reason why, one of the many reasons why shallow ass conversations around colorism piss me the fuck off is because black women are black women. And there are things that all of us deal with. I am not, and let me be clear, dark-skinned women are certainly judged by a harsher standard, especially in terms of beauty, in terms of build. But there are some things you don't get. Some things that just means all y'all are, I'm trying not to use that word. We all deal with many of the same things. And what you have to understand is an attack on Kamala is an attack on us. The reason why I can be critical of Barack Obama and have been, and y'all, some of y'all who see my political videos know this, but I still pull back with certain things, is because I know African Americans have to be very careful about how they talk about other African Americans in public. Not out of some ridiculous loyalty to Barack Obama, I don't know him, or to Kamala Harris, as if she's some perfect, no. Because I know this goes into my daily life every fucking single day. And if they can do it to her, they can damn sure do it to me. And will do it, have done it. And there's like a psychological stress I really had in hearing that conversation that was making me so angry. And how I've watched different coverage, read different things, and I can feel the anger and the anxiety rising from what I know happens to black women in the workplace, especially when you're smart, when you're together, and God forbid, confident. And not looking for validation of all sorts. She can be married to a white man. I didn't know black men were out here breaking their necks to marry black women. Certainly not the smart ones, because, you know, they can't submit. But if you was a real smart man, you wouldn't need no woman to submit to you. Hello and good morning. And that's why, and I was just so angry that these two, and the way he'll call her, hold her face, she better be ready. What? And I'm not sitting up here saying that Donald Trump wouldn't pull that. But do you really think, as a black woman, she is not prepared to do that? And I want people to quit trying to act like, well, as vice president, she didn't do this. The vice president and the president are not the same role. The vice president is really the person in waiting. A vice president only has as much power as the president lets them have. So there are certain people that have these close relationships. Very few presidents and vice presidents work that well together. So you could say, as far back as Andrew Jackson and Martin Van Buren, who was the second vice president, Bill Clinton and Al Gore, and then Barack Obama and Joe Biden. That's it. She didn't have that access. She was in control of the border, and she decided that we need to figure out the root causes of this. That's the assignment that Joe Biden gave her. And then she has to work within that. And then Trump gave the order to the Republicans in Congress, and they some dummies for doing it, that said go against the the bill she's trying to put into law about the border because I need that essentially to run on. And so they voted it down. But her asking at the root causes is what smart people fucking do. Well, let's figure out where this starts instead of putting a Band-Aid on it. We've been talking about immigration and people coming over here illegally for almost two decades. I mean, like in terms of big media coverage. Yeah, we need to figure out what the root of this shit is. Because all the police at the border ain't working. And then you have people like Kamala Harris, who did not have that kind of access to Joe Biden. He needs her now to take on the role because that's where you're there. Harry Truman and FDR. Fun fact, they have been working on the Manhattan Project. That's the project to build the atomic bomb. Harry Truman didn't even know that fucking existed until after they swore him in with FDR's untimely death. And then they briefed him and he was like, what are you talking about? He didn't even fucking know. So there's always been a history of this kind of being like a good position for the next level up, but not so much in terms of power. But what I'm also saying is, what the fuck did Mike Pence do? That now all of a sudden we need this huge standard and set of policies. Because the bottom line is all these policies still have to be signed off by the president. So miss me with the fucking bullshit. And miss me with the Kamala isn't black and all this other old fuck shit y'all talking about. It's pissing me the fuck off. Because y'all got fucking ass Adele, who because she can sing, then she's purported, when black people can sing, well, you can't sing like so-and-so, you can't sing like so-and-so. This whole bitch is wrapped up in Jamaican shit and Bantu knots, cosplaying, might as well be black-facing, black culture. Everybody's like in the shade room comments, I don't care. She one of us. Why the fuck is she one of us? Y'all gonna get enough of this dumbass shit letting white people off the fucking hook. And keep fucking around with Trump like he don't mean what the fuck he say. And if he get on TV and say some wild shit like that, and we all know he's capable of it, and we don't turn, you know what? Help me, Jesus. You have to realize, I don't know how motherfuckers are being raised or what they forgot, but do know what affects one black person affects another. That is the way this shit works. Now, I am absolutely not supporting any policies that continue to purport the genocide over there against Palestinians in Gaza. Kamala, Joe Biden, I don't give a fuck. Y'all wrong for that shit because y'all supplying them with arms to carry out the genocide. I will say that. But what the fuck that got to do with y'all calling her a hoe? White women do that all the time, but yet they're still pure. You know how many women did Bill Clinton accused of raping? How many people helped cover it up? Yeah, go back and look at the Clinton affair, A&E series, and all the women who break down and cry in the midst of these interviews. They can't even regurgitate it back up. Or they do, but they're struggling with it. But y'all got smoked for Kamala, for something she did 40 years. Now granted, you got to answer for stuff. But y'all about to piss me off, and black men in particular. Get the fuck up out of here. Because we supposed to be sitting up here waiting for, never mind. Ooh, child, I'm about to say something. So anyway, Kamala Harris is on the front of Time magazine, her moment. And yes, he was dumb enough to say, Donald Trump was like, yeah, she looks like Melania. I mean, she's beautiful. She's just stupid and incompetent. Another stereotype of black people. They're all dumb. No matter how smart you are, you're still dumb. No matter how clean you are, you're still dirty. The fuck out of here. That shit, ooh, when I tell you that shit got to my fucking, I couldn't hardly sleep last night. And we need to talk about how black women, because I saw this on TikTok, how black women, some, at least ones with a black conscience, are almost like stressed because we're anticipating what we know comes with this shit. So then you have fucking Van Jones of all people, the one Sunny Hostin fucking read to fucking death on The View. Sunny Hostin is the Afro-Latina woman who is on The View, not the conservative Latin chick who just only got mad at Trump after he was trying to put out immigrants and shit. She was with him before, though. So Van Jones also, while we're on the record of things people need to do, worked with Tommy Loren, racist ass, conservative ass, and conservative ain't nothing but a cloak for racism, with Tommy Loren to produce something known as a pro-unity documentary, known as the Reunited States. And this was maybe about 4 years ago. And he co-produced it with, I think Meghan McCain may have been a part of it, or at least in it, but him and Tommy Loren got together to a degree. So Sunny Hostin called him out on The View when all this stuff went down. And she said this, and I'm reading the quote from her because I don't want to mess it up. But I remember Very Smart Brothers wrote about this in The Root when they were a thing. And so this is what Sunny Hostin said to him. She said, now Van, she's talking to Van Jones. I think it was during COVID. You do spend a lot of time treading the middle and trying to unite people. But there are those who accuse you of being a political opportunist, a chameleon, so to speak, who provided racial cover for former disgraced, twice impeached President Trump. And then followed it up with, how do you feel about she let him get comfortable too, real smooth, and on the screen, and then was like, how do you feel about the fact that black people just don't trust you? And this is why. But now he got all this smoking shit for Kamala Harris. He's emotional about Joe Biden. I mean, giving real bootlicker, slave, Samuel L. Jackson's character in Django kind of shit. So, one of his quotes from that interview, he basically said, he gets beat up by liberals every time I say this, but I'm going to keep saying it, end quote. I'm going to keep saying it. Donald Trump has, quote, has done good stuff for black community, like opportunity zone stuff and black college stuff, end quote. Now, motherfucker, say the policy specifically. Yeah, he did let some black people out of prison who had no business there. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And he made sure the cameras were there so everybody knew, too. But see, when you're black and do that, you're guilty by association. You think Obama could have pointed out all the black people he let off? Because he's guilty by association. Yeah, that's just what those black people do. They just wanted to let each other out of jail for shit they shouldn't have been in there for in the first fucking place. Not only that, then he has the nerve. This is the same motherfucker who got $100 million gift. If you have $100 million to give, he got $100 million gift from Jeff Bezos, the former CEO of Amazon and who founded it. All right. Now, he's known for his appearances on CNN, primarily being a talking head. He co-founded back in the 90s, in 96, the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights, which partly focuses on police brutality, and served as the CEO of Reform, CEO of a company known as Reform, which works to reshape America's approach to prison sentencing. But Dream.org was one of his more recent nonprofits. And he has a habit of going from business to business to business, or from thing to thing to thing, just like he did with law. And I'm going somewhere with this. So Green for All, when Jeff Bezos gave him the $100 million, it was an innovative grant, so other things that he wants to give to and therefore develop. All right? And Dream.org was composed of 3 separate initiatives. All right? Green for All, a program to increase diversity in the tech industry. And we all know white people have weaponized diversity to say that black people are getting things that they don't want, when in turn what people have done is claim that Jewish people are unsafe, like they've done across college campuses, so that they can undermine people who are pro-Palestinian, not anti-Israel, but pro-Palestinian. Well, to some degree they are, since they're going against colonization. But nevertheless, it's a little different. So they've weaponized it to make it about different kinds of white people. The biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action from the time it was enacted till now have been white women over and over again. Because when you have minority contracts that went up, or they made it a law, like in the city of Atlanta, all white contractors did was put their daughters at 51% shares. Because they're technically minorities. They count. White women count as minorities. Underserved. That's what they did. And it's still in the family. Because white women vote like white men often. See Angela Davis, Race, Class, and Sex. She get a whole history about the Sojourner Truth and Frederick Douglass feuding over it. Anyway, so the three things: a program to increase diversity in the tech industry, a criminal justice policy group. Jones once served as Dream's president after he handed off day-to-day affairs in 2019, and this is according to the date. Where did I get this from? Daily Beast, was it? Yeah, the Daily Beast. Okay. So anyway, he did that, right? He is still listed as a board member on the Dream website. The same thing that he was promoting yesterday at the end of the Tavis Smiley thing, after they both thought it would be real entertaining because she needs to prepare for it to be called a hoe. Because black men haven't referred to black women like that over and over and over a fucking again. The fuck out of here. Anyway, so many people who criticize Jones, like myself, does not think his work is entirely laudable, and I'm paraphrasing some of this stuff from the Daily Beast. So, quote, he can't stay at anything for longer than a few years before passing it off, one former employee said. Another echoed that sentiment, arguing that Jones has a habit of moving on to the next thing and possibly not creating the best infrastructure before he leaves. None of these have been long-lasting organizations, but the fact that Jeff Bezos, an outright racist, someone who basically created a structure where Amazon workers were paid poorly for the billions so he can get in a rocket ship, fly to Mars, come back and everything else. If he decided to give that black man $100 million, since when don't white people who give that kind of money expect some shit back? You think he gave it to him so that he could do Innocence Project, Re-Up Volume 2? Hell no. He know he a sellout. Anyway, I was like, the fuck? He's one of the people who start and stop. So, mind you, Ben Jones is from Tennessee, Jackson, Tennessee, and his parents named him Anthony. But on the first day of his freshman year at the University of Tennessee at Martin, I'm presuming that's in Martin, Tennessee, Jones started going by Van. His reasoning? The moniker, he determined, had, quote, a little touch of nobility, but at the same time was not overboard, end quote. What the fuck does that even mean? So that's not even his middle name. His name is Anthony. He's just going by Van. Like, that should already tell you somebody is on fuck shit. Not like, oh, okay, you know, people gave me this nickname and I just stuck with it. No. That's some weird shit. I'm trying to forget where I came from shit. So multiple staffers said that Green for All's leaders, and this is under the Dream program, that he was once again purporting yesterday, but here we have his employees. He's been kicked off the board of his own organization. You know that, right? He was ousted. Nobody denied that he was ousted, including his own spokesperson and other people in the organization. They just said, he's taking a hands-off role. He was ousted off the board. But you worrying about how Kamala Harris should be in the room with thugs so she can know how to go back with Donald Trump. Fuck y'all. That shit triggered the fuck out of me. I was like, I'm not even listening to that shit. I need a break from that. Because that kind of shit and black people woo! Anyway, but there was also a spokesperson for Dream that insisted that the group has never been in a stronger place financially, adding that it had hired staff after receiving Bezos' $10 million grant. Like I said, there's different parts of the tier. And he gave Van Jones a $100 million innovation grant, so it's for Jones to do what he wants. He doesn't have to give it to that organization. The group's list of successes, he said, include generating 11,318 signatures to petition for more equity and justice in the Inflation Reduction Act, participating in more than 30 events, and launching a program to, quote, help federal agencies meet equity goals, end quote. So Dream, the same organization you were promoting yesterday, y'all have generated 11,318 signatures. Please tell me why you need $10 million to fucking do that. Right. Participating in more than 30 events. participating, not hosting, not running, and launching another program to help federal agencies meet equity goals. What the fuck does that mean? So this is what I mean. We can't just, there is a tone, an undertone language that we have got to be more quick with. Trying to paint her out to be a whore and this, that, and the other. Shit like that goes on so many places on a regular basis. But when it's black women, please note, I don't care how y'all try to twist this. What's an attack on her is an attack on us. You see, he ain't do all that shit. I mean, we could say, oh, he had Omarosa and this one and that one. Yeah, other sellout, corny motherfuckers who don't give a shit about the black community. That's not diversity. So I'm making this video because that's how I feel. And I want everybody else to be aware of this. So, share it, do what you got to do. But have a great rest of your Tuesday.